Welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben, and I'm here with Lucy.
Hello.
Hello, and everyone can see our beautiful faces.
Now the FBI can track me down. I'm not too happy about that.
Based on the, your room and the background, the sounds going on.
Yeah.
They'll be able to pinpoint you exactly.
Yeah. So I won't be on next week because I'll be in hiding.
You've ran away forever. Nice. So we've decided to mix things up. Out of Lives is kind of going to video as well. We're going to be putting stuff up on our YouTube page, including this. So
everything's gone to video. FAQs, guides.
Yeah, walkthroughs. Does make life a little bit easier.
Take me back to the 90s. Just need a nice
text.
written guide.
Yeah,
yes.
That's fair.
Just text.
Turn
yes.
left at the Vauxhall tree.
Yes.
But yes, so Out of Lives is going to video, as is everybody else. But we thought, at least for Tanked Up, we can show you what the beers look like now, rather than you waiting several days for me to actually upload something to Untapped. Lucy's pretty shit hot at doing that, gets it up pretty swiftly. Maybe the day after that, whereas I still haven't put up our Cannibal Run beers. So
I haven't on Untapped either, so I'm not shit. I forget.
Yeah. You're fine,
every week.
Fine. You're better than me.
Yeah.
For this episode, we're still figuring out our setup and how things work. So what you see now will not be the finished product. It is a work in progress. Plus, when Adel comes in, that's going to fuck things up completely.
Yeah.
Having 3 people plus a logo or something else in another corner, it's not going to look like this. So things will change as we go. But should we start talking about games and have some beers?
Games. Not really much news recently.
No, nothing seems to have been happening.
No. So I think straight into beers.
That's a good idea. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a beer from St Francis Brewing Company. We're in South Africa. This was part of the Beer 52 box when they went to South Africa.
Yep.
It's called Kromme River. It's a wit beer. Let's have a look. Any flavour text? Well, they put in the dictionary definition for the word stoked. I think we know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, but no flavour text, 5%. Alcohol is addictive. Yeah, that's basically it.
Brilliant.
What are you drinking?
I am going to drink one of those 2 beers that I'd mentioned previously. Not last episode, but maybe the episode before. Breweries that I hadn't tried before. So the first one is Material World, which is an American pale ale from 2 Tribes. It's 5.5%, and there is flavour text. So I put the can up for people to see whilst I read the flavour text. Columbus, Cascade, and Amarillo hops combine to deliver an APA for the next generation. Brewed with a nod to the ones who came before us. Say no to the material world and yes to a small batch beer with hints of grapefruit and citrus. That's it. I like the can. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
With the St Francis with the wit beer, I seem to remember that being the first beer I drank from the Beer 52 box, full of South African beers. Yeah,
it would have been a good place to start because it tastes like a wit beer. Nice and refreshing. Would be very good on a summer's day. It's just a bit mild today. It's not really hot. You're in the middle of June, but sun's been missing for a few days, which is good because we've been inside watching E3. But yeah, it's colour. It's not straw. It's darker than that. Very, very, very light amber, slightly orangey. It's pretty clear. You can see all the way through. It's not got any haze or anything. It's weird describing this now that people can see. I'm just here it is.
Yes.
You can see it.
You can see exactly what it's like.
I'll shut up and drink and you decide for yourself what it looks like.
Yes, and then you can tell us what it tastes like. Because the smell and the taste is now the only thing people won't be able to... and the
I mean, we don't have smell-o-vision yet.
Not yet. We're not quite there yet.
2018.
It's getting close, I assume.
Okay.
I'm going to have to just sit on this beer for about 20 minutes because... Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh dear. And I don't even think the can was fizzy. It's gone from my shelf to the fridge this afternoon and then back out here. So... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got a good nose to it though.
Yeah. Mine has a slightly orange peel, peppery kind of note to it.
Okay.
But taste, it tastes like a wit beer. If you've ever drank Blue Moon before, you'll know exactly what it tastes like. It's crisp, slightly creamy, light-bodied, really refreshing, slightly citrusy. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm enjoying this.
Nice. I'm definitely getting the citrus off the nose, and it came straight out of the can as well. Sort of almost as soon as I sort of cracked it close to me, I could get that. And I'm not sure I'm getting much of the Amarillo, but definitely the Columbus and the Cascade sort of kick in straight away. Get past the head, make sure it's not on my moustache. Now we're on video.
That's the worst thing. I have to not be dishevelled.
Exactly. I've got to make sure I've had a haircut and shit like that.
At least we still don't have to wear pants.
It's very true. It's very true. This is nice. You don't quite get the citrus maybe quite as much on the flavour as you do through the nose. You know, there's other stuff coming in. There is definitely a grapefruit flavour there. There's maybe a little bit of other sort of fruit creeping in as well. I'm not quite sure what the citrus and the grapefruit go very well together, but there is definitely something there additionally as well. But it's a nice bitter beer too. That's got a lovely bitterness which kicks in straight away. It's not a really heavy kind of bitter, but it's just this light bitter which kicks up maybe a little bit of a notch when it gets to the end of the flavour, and it's quite dry as well. So you do instantly want to go back to it.
We like our bitterness around here.
We do. We definitely do. And it's that bitterness sort of goes very well. It sits right in the back, and it allows those more fruity and the citrus flavours to sort of come to the fore a little bit more. The bitterness just kind of backs it up really nicely, and you're sort of left with that bitterness, maybe a slight hint of the fruit, only very slightly. It's like maybe a very slight sort of fruity sweetness, but that's it. It sort of hits you at the end with that bitterness, and that stays with you. But again, it invites you to, because it's so dry, want to keep drinking. So you're constantly sort of refreshing your palate with that fruit and citrus kind of combination. So it's good. The head's gone down.
Good.
A decent amount so far. So
Good stuff. Good start. Off to a good start.
very good start. Yeah. Very happy with that. So, are we going to talk about some games that we've played before we kick into E3? Because we didn't get a chance to talk about games last week, so we've got kind of a couple of weeks to catch up on. But I think I mentioned last time that I'm probably only going to play one game anyway. You know, with it being E3 week and with there being so much to sort of consume, I found it very difficult to get in any gaming time because I'm watching so much and listening to so much about games. What about you, Lucy? How have you found this week?
Well, let's just get into it now. Hollow Knight was released on Switch, and I've been playing that. I was playing that until 2 a.m, 2:30 last night. It's a good game. It's a good Metroidvania.
Have you played it before?
No, I was waiting till the Switch port.
Yeah.
Because it made the rounds last year. It was released on just PC last year, and, you know, obviously lauded because, from what I can tell, for probably about 4 hours I've put into it, it's a very good game. So I wanted to wait and just experience it on the Switch because I'm never going to play it on PC, especially because it's meant to be a very long game.
Right, okay.
I can see that happening. It's classic Metroid. It's feeling lost and isolated in a weird world, weird bug world.
Bug world, nice.
Yes. because all the enemies are like bug-like and like mantises and mushrooms and stuff like that. The character design's really good. The enemy design's really good. The animation is fantastic. It's just a beautiful game to look at. You might look at it from like screens and think, oh, that color palette is a bit pallid and restrained. But when you actually get into it, I will not get sick of this art style, even 20 hours on.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm unlocking new abilities. The classic wall jump. I think I've unlocked really 2 abilities so far only. There's quite a lot of backtracking because you don't get a conventional map. At the very beginning of the game, there's no map at all. And then once you start earning some currency by, fighting more enemies, picking up little coins. I forgot what they're called. Is it geos or something like that? The form of currency.
God, I don't know.
But yeah. But once you start picking up that, you can go to these shops and the tellers in there will say, oh, we've got these items to purchase, these charms that we can offer you. And one of the charms, first charm that I picked up is, well, you can purchase maps also, but one of the charms that I got was to see where your character is based on the map. Okay. Because it's not like Metroid where you're given the map in the top,
your
top
position
quadrant
is
of the
shown.
screen. Yeah, in like a little red dot or something like that. It's just you're given a map. It comes up very easily. You just press whatever L1 is on Switch, ZL or something like that, and you bring up the map. The world is still going on behind you, so you have to bring up the map when you're out of reach or out of combat. But it is seamless. You just bring it up.
Yeah.
I don't know if, because I'm not familiar with the game and what it originally released as. I don't know if that was something that implemented later due to fan feedback, or if it was in the game from the start. So apologies to people who played the game originally. I'm not sure. But yeah, then you can see the map, but you can only purchase maps when you find a little, I think his name is, what's his name? Some weird name.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary. When you find Gary in this area and say, Gary, can I buy a map? He's like, yeah, and it will show you the map for that area.
Yeah.
But until you find him, you just can't see a map for that area.
You've just got to explore.
Yeah, which is refreshing. I mean, that's what the first Metroid was. It's like you don't know where you're going. You're just exploring. You're obviously going to backtrack, but in this game, backtracking is fun enough. I'm enjoying the combat. I'm enjoying what's a pretty smart way to deal with health is that you're basically building up a meter. That meter can also be used for like special abilities. I've only unlocked one so far, but it's also part of your health meter. So you've got like 5 little health bars. It only takes 1 hit to knock off a bar.
Yeah.
If you've got enough of that meter, you can then refill your health bars with that meter.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's pretty cool implementation of the health bar. But early impressions is it's great. I see why people liked it. Definitely going to keep playing it. I was playing it for probably another 2 hours today, so I've probably put about 6 hours into it overall. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. That's very good. It definitely was kind of like on my radar when it first released, but I just never pulled the trigger on it to pick it up. I think it just came out when there was just other things that that I had to play, and it kind of wasn't that high up my list of something to pick up. But it sounds really good. Yeah,
it's Metroidvania, so it's always going to get 2 thumbs up from me.
How does it? Because what's it called? Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. That's the most recent Metroidvania
good
game,
game,
isn't it? How does it compare with that? Because it's very difficult to just say it's a Metroidvania game. This is how it compares to this, because obviously they'll do different things. They'll unlock at different rates. They've got different pacing and stuff. But how does it kind of how does it compare? Which did you prefer? Do you have a preference at the moment?
Bloodstained isn't your conventional Metroidvania. It's more just an action platformer like Castlevania 1 and 3 were, not so much 2. but there are branching paths, but you're still going to the same destination in Bloodstained after like 1 or 2 rooms. So it isn't Metroidvania in that sense. So this is completely pure Metroid.
Yeah.
Whereas Bloodstained is pure Castlevania in more ways than one, obviously.
So
but,
they take either side of the sort of the Metroidvania
so,
spectrum.
Yeah. It's so weird now because it's like Metroidvania, Castlevania, and it's like, where did those all collide? I think it's Symphony of the Night, but this is much more. Hollow Knight is much more Metroid, and Bloodstained is much more original Castlevania.
Sure. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair.
Yeah.
Are you? I assume you're still just playing it kind of on the handheld rather than in the dock.
I only put the Switch in the dock once, and that was to do the initial update one day.
Which you had to do, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. That was the only reason why.
Nice.
But dock's collecting dust.
Just sat there. Does it translate well to kind of being portable? Is it very pick up and play?
Yeah. Anything's good to pick up and play really on the Switch, because it's like Vita. It just suspends it in that place, and you can just get back into it straight away. And yeah, it's really, I mean, graphically it's beautiful, especially on that screen up close, and it's running well. You know, I don't know how many frames it's running, but I haven't seen any dips in performance or anything like that yet. So
okay, nice,
great,
good.
Yeah.
I've been playing Xcom 2.
You see, this is the beauty of being on video now. I can't go to sleep anymore.
You can still roll your eyes and kind of zone out, just sort of look towards the ceiling.
XCOM 2, it was PS Plus game?
Yeah, it's free. So it's free this month on PS Plus. I loved XCOM Enemy Within, which was kind of like the reimagined version of XCOM, or the re-release of XCOM. What, maybe 5 years ago or so now, something like that, maybe a little bit longer. I seem to remember I played that as a PlayStation 3 PS Plus game, and really enjoyed it. XCOM 2 is very much a direct sequel. It's exactly the same kind of gameplay. They've made some tweaks, they've updated stuff. The interesting thing about it is that in XCOM, where you're trying to stop an alien invasion, in XCOM 2 you're basically under alien rule, and you're kind of this resistance that's flying around in this ship, flying to different areas and stuff, and you've got this kind of like overworld meta game, where, well, I suppose that is the main crux of the game. You fly around to different areas, and you have to liberate different places, get in contact with different small like guerrilla cells and stuff in different areas of the world, and all of this takes time. And whilst time is ticking on, the aliens are building up to some special project, which I assume, if it hits the top, is like game over.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near that yet, and every time they seem to put a point on, I manage to counter it and go and do something which takes a point off. So at the moment, it's very much kind of imbalanced for me. There's not really been a swing either way, which is great, because it kind of still keeps that tension that you're like, oh, they've gained a little bit, no, I brought it back, it's cool. It's, oh, they've gained a little bit, oh, no, I brought it back, it's cool, without feeling kind of under pressure or like it's too easy.
Is that throughout the whole game, that push and pull? That sounds stressful.
I think I assume it must be.
If they take over, will that undo all your progress, or? I
assume if they take over, that is the end state, and I just would have to start again, I guess.
Jesus, no wonder I don't play these games.
I'm playing it on normal. There is an easy, and then I think above normal there's 2 harder settings. But I'm playing it on normal. It was the one that basically said, if you played XCOM before, play this one. You know, without it saying if you want a challenge or anything like that. So I kind of started on that, and whereas in the first XCOM I kind of felt a little affinity with the characters that I'd created, and you really felt it when a really high level character was killed, like in the field, you know, in that isometric kind of battle situation. Whereas with this, I haven't felt like that. I've retained characters, and I've lost characters, but I don't think I've quite clicked with with the characters, maybe as I did with the first game, and maybe that's just because I'm having a similar experience to how I did with the first game. So I've already felt this, and the first game gave me a newer experience in bonding with sort of like a squad and losing members and trying to replace them with somebody else. And now it's kind of just that is just what happens.
Is that because you haven't characterized any of them?
Oh no, I've characterized 2 of them so far. No, one of them is currently as close as I can possibly get to Geralt from Witcher 3. And the other one...
Gives me thinking you're going to, model them on your family members.
Well,
and that's why you feel some loss.
Maybe it's a little bit easier to lose, Geralt. But the other one I've done is Aloy as well.
Oh, I'd be upset losing it.
Yeah, so I'm slowly getting through them. I was going to do Senua from Hellblade, but I haven't found the right hairstyle yet. She's been a difficult one to get. And obviously you haven't got full customization of these guys. You've got 10 hairstyles for women, 10 hairstyles for men, 5 faces for each. So, you could make duplicates. You can make everyone look exactly the same if you really wanted to.
And it would just be cannon fodder at that point.
Completely.
I don't care about you.
Completely. And maybe that's the way that you should do it. But they've introduced new enemies, and they've kind of tightened up the combat a little bit as well. You still get that frustrating idea where you've got a character with a shotgun who will get really close. You get on the next tile to an enemy, and it says it's a 95% chance that you'll hit them, and obviously the number generator in the background rolls whatever it rolls, and it comes up as one of those 5%, and you miss them, and you just think, for fuck's sake, like how what fucking stupid untrained knobhead is stood next to someone with a shotgun and can't bloody hit them?
I don't know. That's why I don't play these games. Strategy games are just too brutal and punishing for me. It's just like, you push against me, I'm just going to push the eject button and never play this game again.
Yeah, and it's fair. It's kind of... I don't think I'm quite feeling, as I said, I wasn't feeling the affinity with the characters as I was with the first game. Maybe I'm not quite feeling this as much as I was with the first game as well. I very much feel that if something comes along, I could quite happily just put it down. And it's one of those games that I'd probably return to. But when I've got nothing else to play, it would go to the
that'll
top
never
of
happen.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It would go to the top of the backlog. But yeah, I think at the moment I'd feel happy putting it down. And as part of the kind of E3 announcements that Sony made, they've just made Call of Duty Black Ops 3 free for PlayStation Plus members.
Oh yeah. I have that game. It's not good.
Well, I don't think I can... I haven't loaded it up yet. I've downloaded it. It's on my machine. But when I went to download it, it asked me which I would like to play first, zombies or multiplayer.
Not single player.
It didn't include single player, and that was the one I wanted to play.
It's writing on the wall there, isn't it?
But, well, yes.
Don't bother play the single player, because I'm not going to have any in the future. It's fine.
Well, it kind of made me think, I downloaded multiplayer first. I thought, if I'm going to jump
honestly, the single player is absolutely awful. So, there's no point even recommending that to anybody. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's worse than Ghosts. It's bad.
Ghost was not good. I played Ghost at a friend's house as well. I didn't even have Ghost, and by the time I'd finished, I was glad.
Black Ops 3
I hadn't picked Ghost.
10 times worse than Ghost. For me. People who like it. You do you. Okay.
Yeah, I thought...
No, you're wrong. I'm sorry, I can't even joke about that. You're wrong if you think Black Ops 3 is good. But...
Well, I thought I'd give it a go. I thought I'd see what it was like. I don't know whether they're free, but they've just put in, as one of the other announcements, they've just put in some revised maps from the original Black Ops.
Oh yeah, that's why they... Oh, hold on. Let me just download Black Ops 3 now. Carry on. It's a great game now.
So that's more why I wanted to play it, because I have such fond memories of the first Black Ops that... Mate,
you should just get an Xbox One and just play the first Black Ops with me.
Oh, just backwards compare. I did buy Black Ops.
That's what I always do.
My brother's still rocking a PlayStation 3, and for his for Christmas I bought him Black Ops. Because there's still, even on PlayStation 3, there's still about 15,000 people that play that game.
Yeah, me.
Well, yeah, but you're on Xbox One, aren't you? Not on
That is
PlayStation
true.
3.
So
I can
there's
imagine
probably
the
at least
numbers.
3,000 playing on Xbox.
Well, I'd have thought maybe the
360.
numbers were a little bit, I'm on 360. Maybe on Xbox One the numbers are a little bit higher, perhaps. Give that game sort of new life in bringing it to backwards compatibility, and people kind of jump in, especially if it was their, if it was their favourite Call of Duty, as maybe
It's the best one ever.
It's a bit different than the Modern Warfare remaster, because essentially that's a completely new game, so it'd be new servers. You're not tapping in and playing with people who are still playing the original release. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you are, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, that's interesting to think. Maybe it's separate servers. I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about technology, so who knows?
What did it take us about? It took us about half an hour to get to this point with doing a video bloody stream. So
every video game is on the same server. Fortnite and Black Ops are on the same server.
Yes, you're just not allowed
How
to
do you
play
know
with
they're
each
not?
other. That's very true.
How do you know you're not?
This could all just be a simulation on one server, couldn't it, really?
Yeah, we're not real.
That's it. Does that make this pointless?
Everything is pointless. Except beer. Have you played anything else?
No,
I've got a few more games.
That's been it for me. I started it before. I started when the month rolled in, when I was able to download the games. Started playing that because I dropped Mass Effect Andromeda. Started playing that, and then we kicked into Gear on Out of Lives for E3 and started doing like prediction videos and starting to chat about what we were doing for stuff. So kind of my game time dropped out a little bit as we were upping our kind of production time a little bit, and then E3 kicked in, and I've just spent the last 4 days doing nothing but hanging out with Evelyn a little bit, putting her to bed, and then just cracking straight into all of the stuff that's been released in the coverage. So well, and even then I haven't caught up with everything.
No, it's too much.
There is too much.
It's too much. But I've been on a Switch binge lately, so there's two other games that I want to talk about. The first one I'll touch on briefly. It's called Shape of the World.
Okay.
And if anyone's ever played Proteus before, it's similar to that, just in my opinion a lot prettier. Still abstract in its art style, but it's more graphically intense. You're just walking around several environments. The world is sort of building around you as you walk through. There are these like triangles always on the horizon, so it's always pinpointing you where you could go next, should go next. You do have the option to explore the worlds, but I found the soundtrack compelling and compelling enough and pushing me forward to go to the next destination. So it's sort of got a really good soundtrack mixed in with your actions, which is nice. But yeah, I kickstarted this game, and I think I've kickstarted about 2-3 games, but this one I kickstarted on Xbox. I actually played it on Switch. The dev was kind enough to offer me a Switch code.
Quality.
So I was like, thank you. Paid for your game happily. Didn't need to do that, but thank you very much. But yeah, I played it on Switch, and it's great. I do plan to revisit on Xbox at a later date, but I can't speak to that version. But I imagine playing it on a bigger screen, it's even better looking, and you get that whole surround sound if you got a setup that's good enough. But yeah, on Switch it runs well, not too many hitches. It was just something that I just sat back with and just I just wanted to relax. I think I came back home from work, so I just feel like relaxing. I'm going to play this. Yeah. And it was just a good, probably 3-hour experience or something like that. And you can revisit the chapters as well, but it was just a nice short experience that you just play it. I played it in one sitting. It was just relaxing. It was nice. Nice chill out game.
Because we don't, we don't really kickstart or fund many sort of projects and stuff. Did you get the basically? Did you kickstart for the amount of money that would get you the Xbox code?
Yeah. So I got my Xbox code. But yeah, he just offered me a Switch code. It's like, you can play it before. Unfortunately, it didn't get impressions out prior to its release, but I've been championing it as much as I can on Twitter.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really nice, relaxing game.
Nice.
I remember playing a build at EGX, was it last year? And EGX is a completely wrong place to play it. You just want to relax. You don't want to be around people, even though they got really good headphones at EGX. But I was just put into the middle of the game, didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy it. I was like, I actually kickstarted this. And I was like, oh. But the final product and just playing it on my own, completely turned me back around. It's really good. Yeah. It's
nice.
a Proteus-like.
I really liked Proteus. Again, I think
I'd recommend checking this out. It's on PlayStation as well.
Yeah,
and PC.
I think Proteus was a free PlayStation Plus game on PS3 at some point as well.
It was. I started playing it on Vita, and I didn't get too much into it. I think it was a bit too abstract for me.
It was very abstract.
Weird.
I don't think there was much of a goal. You just hit different sort of experiences as the seasons changed and the night-day cycle went on. Different things would happen in different areas.
Yeah, which is fine. Explored. It's like, Ho-Ho-Kun was like that as well. It's like, this game is very, very, very similar to that. I must stress that. But it's because you always had that triangle on the horizon signaling where you should go next, which kept me going.
Yeah. And
why I enjoyed this more than those two experiences.
You can always turn off and explore, but you know that you can just do a 360 and find where the triangle is to just start heading back there when you've had your fill of exploring.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The last game I want to talk about is called Yoku's Island Express.
Oh, I've seen.
It just brings a smile to my face.
I've seen chats of this on Twitter.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's a pinball Metroidvania. Again, Metroidvania, thumbs up from me. But I'm not a fan of pinball.
Okay.
Don't think I'm good at it. In fact, I know I'm not good at it. but I was able to navigate through this pretty comfortably. It's it's just a very relaxing, cheerful, uplifting, happy game.
Yeah.
Soundtrack's great. Visuals are great. For anyone who doesn't know, it's like a 2D game. You're basically playing it as a beetle who's a postman pushing around a ball, which should be a dong ball, but it isn't. But basically, you navigate like a normal platform. There's no jumping, but you navigate left to right using the sticks or the D-pad, just like any other platformer. But instead of jumping, the analog is basically you're getting the flippers, like in pinball, and you're controlling these pinball flippers with the left and right trigger. I guess it's that for every controller. That's what it is on the Switch where I played it. But so to get to other new places, you're basically going through pinball tables and navigating the areas and the space in that way. And there's different puzzles, and then there's like boss levels which are multi-ball and stuff like that. So it's a very good homage to pinball without requiring that twitch skill that pinball needs, and that may turn away players like me who are not good at pinball. It's like I liken it to Golf Story last year. I don't like golf, like Earthbound kind of RPGs are just like no, I'm okay. But Golf Story was a mix between those two things, and it was fantastic. It was one of my favourite games last year.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how people can innovate and bring two different genres into one thing and make it work seamlessly. Just nice. I fully recommend picking it up.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. Ooh, three, I suppose. 3 good experiences.
Yeah, there's a fourth, but I will really quickly touch upon this one, because Flashback is coming to Switch in a few weeks, and I was like, how come there's not enough games like Flashback and what is called a novel world now?
Yeah.
The Prince of Persia. So how come there's no more games like this? And I just googled it, like what's a good flashback like that's come out in recent years, and there's this game called The Way, and they've actually remastered it for Switch.
Right.
And I picked it up on Switch because it was on sale as well. It's got like 9 out of 10s on like Steam, I think, which is not always the best aggregate, but I was like, what people are saying about it, it sounds good, and it's like flashback and all this and that. It was a light flashback with all the frustrations that flashback has.
Brilliant.
With not the best of platforming.
Yeah.
Cool puzzles that you have to figure out for yourself, you know, and that was cool. But yeah, it was a decent experience for what I was looking for.
Cool.
Which is probably what nobody else is looking for. High-end experience.
Someone might.
No, it's just me, and all those people on Steam. Were probably like 40.
That's it. Everyone hankering for the days of yore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out. It might still be on sale. The Way remastered on Switch.
Nice. Some good recommendations this week for games.
Yes.
I'm gonna crack another beer.
You
good?
About time.
You good?
Yeah, just one more mouthful. I think it's about time.
Nice, and then we can crack into some E3 chatter. We spent, what did we spend? Nearly over 3 hours. Obviously, we talked about beers as well on the Cannonball Run. Jesus Christ! If you sat through our whole, good on you for dealing with us for 3 hours.
Give yourself a nice pat on the back.
Good. Some feedback we've had from Alex Waite suggests that you can tell when that third beer kicks in.
Xbox is stupid. No, PlayStation's stupid.
Oh, it's good that we're professional about this, isn't it? All the time.
Yes.
Oh, I've cracked me bottle. What am I drinking? So I've got like a little. It's not quite a stubby. It's a 330ml bottle, but they've done it in the fashion of a stubby, which I like. I like that. This is the name I couldn't say. Poppels West Coast India Pale Ale from, I guess, Poppels Brewery. Maybe the beer's called the West Coast. Yes. The West Coast IPA. That's it. That's the only English on the bottle apart from guacamole and pizza.
The Futurama beer.
Yes,
yeah, I remember.
Almost, yes. But it is 6.5%. It does tell me that it's 40 IBUs. That's the only other.
Right.
That's the only other info they put on there.
Yeah, you know what? Not to get nerdy for a second, but IBUs, like sometimes I see like, oh, it's 20 IBUs, but it's like this tastes like 80 IBUs. It's like it's such a weird gauge. Like sometimes I feel beers are more bitter than the IBUs would suggest.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's hard to go by that metric for me sometimes.
I'm having a bad week. I've already got mostly head. Pouring this week is not going well.
Well, never mind. I'll tell you what I have.
Yes.
Whilst that goes
yes,
down.
Please.
It's called 8-bit. So, one of my favourite genres in video games. It's a collaboration beer.
Yep.
Between Brewdog.
Brewed as well, isn't it?
Yes. Because, as you can see, it's got their...
yes.
Their format, their look to it. Oh Jesus, there's more. Cloudwater. The brewery.
Just the brewery.
Yeah, spelled Bruery. I can't read cursive, obviously. No one can see that.
No,
Never mind.
That. Not quite.
Yeah, Daya. Magic Rock. Stillwater. 7th Sun Brewing Co. and Northern Monk. So that's why it's called 8-bit. There's 8 different breweries involved. Let's read the flavour text. 8 breweries, 8 hops, 8%, 1 monumental beer. Brewed over our AGM weekend, it is unfiltered liquid testimony to the power of collaboration. A smooth, juicy and full-bodied New England IPA with console loads... Oh, no, don't say that. With console loads of stone fruit and tropical fruit aroma.
How much is that? How much is one console's worth?
Well, if it's Xbox One and the world's most powerful console, then it's 8 teraflops worth of flavour. Followed by Bite spelled BYTE, sized bursts of peach, mango, pineapple, papaya, apricot, lime, grapefruit, and orange.
Well, so if we're going to 8 teraflops down to a bite, then you're not going to taste that too, are you?
No. This beer has more hops than Microsoft has studios. Prior to...
Is that what it actually
prior
says?
to Monday... No. Prior to Monday, it did anyway. All heading towards a bittersweet finish. 8-bit game over.
Nice. That makes it even better that it's your hot take as well.
Not anymore.
No.
They acquired 5 studios, so now they have 5 studios. So there you go.
Not my biggest bugbear. It's great for Microsoft to be picking up these people, but for fuck's sake, Ninja Theory. Oh, you've gone from my grasp.
Hey.
I play on PC.
They just said that they didn't want to be working contract to contract, and I can respect that as... I mean, for doing it they've been around for ages.
They have.
Since like the early 2000s. Like,
Well,
imagine...
Heavenly Sword was a PlayStation 3 launch title, which was 2006. And I believe they had a game before that as well. They had one other game before that.
Yeah.
Is lost from my memory. But they
one knows.
they charted all of the games that they'd made in the explanation video they did for why they went with Microsoft, and it all makes sense. It's a very good sort of business decision for them. They've been offered sort of complete creative freedom to do what they want to do, which is absolutely brilliant. Whilst having that little bit of extra bankroll from Microsoft, having the resources that Microsoft can bring to them, it's a fantastic move for Ninja Theory.
And not having to think this next project is going to cripple us financially.
Very much. Very much. I can't remember. Pure rumor, pure speculation, absolutely pure speculation. So do not take this as writ whatsoever. But I hate rumors. But I did hear that they offered themselves to Sony, and Sony said no. And then Microsoft swooped in and said, "Yes, we'll give you whatever the fuck you like."
Apparently, Hellblade cost 10 million to make. Only 10 million.
That
is crazy.
Quality game.
That's crazy. Amazing. Anyway, I can't smell nothing. I can't smell anything. So it's got that Brewdog tick on it straight away. I can't smell anything on the beer. I can smell a bit of maltiness. But that's after inhaling for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's got that sort of that haze, that almost juice bomb kind of profile, that look to it.
Yeah, I'd say that's the Cloudwater and the Daya.
Yeah, bit more of a head, perhaps, than it hasn't dissipated too much.
Yeah,
a little bit there.
I'd expect slightly more for it's 8% strong, but it's not really strong. So, but yeah, it's got looks like it's a very good looking beer. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's a bit of yeast floating around. It's always a good sign. Lots of flavour for those 8 hops. But I'll see what it tastes like. How's yours?
This is really good, but I'm finding it really difficult to describe what's going on. There's this almost, I don't know whether it's kind of like this slight caramel kind of note to the nose. But it's being sort of tempered down by something that I can't quite put my finger on. There's no sort of, I'm not getting a huge amount of sort of fruitiness to it. But on the flavour, I'm perhaps getting... That caramel is pulled back even more on the flavour. There is a little bit of that there. But I think the malts are doing a little more. It's a little bit sort of biscuity. Maybe slightly... Not quite oaty. But it's sort of moving towards that kind of flavour. With a very, very slight, maybe stone fruit coming through. but that's been sort of pulled back a lot by whatever's going on with the malts in there. This is, for 6.5%, this is so smooth. It's so easy to drink. I cannot tell that this is 6.5% whatsoever. It's so light. I mean, it's not, it's not a 4% like crisp lager by any means, but it's kind of, in terms of the flavors coming through, they work really well, and they mask any kind of alcohol going on whatsoever. I mean, this I know that I could just down this instantly and have absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. It's such a light, such an easy beer to drink. This is really fucking good. Done.
That is
done. I'll buy 10 more of these,
good
please.
to hear, man. Yes.
I got no idea what's in it, but full of arsenic, white spirit, antifreeze. It's all in there. But
yeah, it's all good stuff.
Yeah. But they've done it well.
I'm glad. I'm envious of you, because I'm on the complete opposite end of the scale with this beer. When they say there's, no smoke without fire, this didn't smell of anything. I was going to say it smells slightly soapy.
Okay.
But I was like, I'm going to hold off on that. But it certainly tastes slightly soapy.
Right.
I was looking if there's any coriander in there, but there isn't. But I don't know how you can have 8 breweries and 8 fruits in there. It's given all the big one, like papaya and passion fruit, lime and stuff like that.
That's what they said. There's only a bite's worth of everything in there. So.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
8 teraflops of water, 1 bite of flavour.
This is not a good beer.
Oh no.
It's not. It's not at all. It looks the part, but tasting it, there's no fruit in there. I can't. I can only taste a little bit of soap. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. You can taste a bit of the alcohol, but what's the point of? I might as well just drink overproof rum and just get my alcohol fix there. There's no point drinking this. It's flavourless.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed.
It's when you go for that bottle of Jägermeister buried at the back of the freezer, isn't it?
Yeah. What is this? I bought it because I don't know where the price tag was, but it was like £5-6. But I bought this on the basis that yeah, it's Brewdog. I don't really buy their beers. I don't want to pile on Brewdog. They're fine. I like probably 1 in their 10 beers nowadays, because not a lot of them are that good in my opinion. But I was thinking, you know what, they've done a collaboration with some of the best breweries in England.
Yeah.
It's got to at least be. I was thinking this is going to be quite a good beer. I don't know what happened. Did they just all send a fax up to Brewdog and say, "Can we have this hop in it?" And they put 2 hops in the boil, and that was it. Shocking.
They've got to have. You would imagine they've sent someone to be, part of that brew process, but. Is it a case of too many?
I don't think anyone was there.
Type thing. There's so many people there that maybe only one person was actually doing anything, and everyone else is just sat around chatting and exchanging stories and just hanging out.
Yeah, and getting drunk off beers from Daya and Cloudwater that actually
I brought a case of this. Just to enjoy. Brilliant.
It's one of those where I think it's the people who are I don't want to sound snobbish or elitist right now, but are oh, I'm getting into craft beer. I've heard that the hazy ones are good, and they drink this and they're like, this is a good beer because it's hazy. It's no, it's not. That's what I feel like this is. This is awful, don't buy it.
It's that kind of next step up, so people who have kind of drunk maybe Brewdogs and they've picked up their supermarket beers, the Sierra Nevadas that they've drunk for a little bit, and maybe some Stone and stuff like this, some decent kind of beers that are available quite widespread. And then Brewdog have gone, well, we do our their 3 name series where they do a small batch brew, and it's called 3 random words, isn't it? Is the name of it and stuff. And they do other small batch beers, and the fanzine beers that have been going out as of recent, I understand, have been going down quite well. But this kind of almost feels, especially at maybe the £6 mark, perhaps, that it's the next step up from what they're doing in terms of the market that they're trying to go for, and maybe they're trying to push the people who drink, a lot of Brewdog beers up to that next level, and introduce them to other brewers as well. But maybe they've, as you're saying, maybe they've missed the mark on that, and they're not.
I want to see how this is rated. Like, I'm just on Untapped. Like,
yeah,
I'm genuinely curious if it's just me, or if it actually really tastes like nothing. But I'm just going to down this just to get that alcohol content, because when you're drinking a beer like this and it's like there's not even any flavour in there.
Yeah.
Less flavour than a table beer of yore, then so what's the point? Anyway, E3, that'll make me happy. Talking about good games.
Let's talk about the good games, the excellent things that we've seen of E3. Should we start with Hitman?
Just caught me off guard there. So, have you got another 2 hours to spare?
Well,
no.
That's completely up to you.
Yeah, it was shown before E3. Warner Brothers are now publishing it, so they had their own little live stream. Everyone was like, why is it not Superman? It's like, because this is better.
Yeah.
Because Rocksteady, I love you, I don't want you to do a Superman game. But,
well, they're definitely going to be.
Superman's lame. Like, really lame.
Yeah.
The only good Superman in video games I've seen is Injustice, because he's like a bad guy. So that's why he's interested. But yeah, Hitman 2. I mean, all the streams that I've seen is Hitman. If you play the 2016 game, and you should have, looking at you out there, you should have.
About it enough.
Yes, and if you haven't bought it, there's something wrong with you. But you can still try it out for free anyway. But it's more of that. They've tweaked things slightly to respond to fan feedback. People were crying out for like a briefcase coming back in. That's now back in the game. Yeah, I mean, I was just happy with the game. I wasn't like on the forums going like, I want this, I want that. I was like, just give me more, just give me more. I'm fine.
Give me a big sniper rifle.
Yeah. Because to be fair, that was pared back a lot. Guns were the very last resort.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. And if you're bringing out a gun, then you've just played the game wrong.
Well, like unlike Absolution, which at times pushed you to
shooting gallery at some
guns.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think from what I can tell, blood pools actually have a real world consequence. Usually you could just like kill somebody and it's like there's a pool of blood there and someone just walks past it. It's like that's not
there's no
concerning at all.
body. Must be paint.
Someone just spilt some red wine and it's like, yeah. So I think that now has more of a consequence. But other than that, I haven't really seen much more differences. Maybe there's more like they've gone a bit more specific in some areas. Like when you show up on a security camera, they've got like a little live feed of the camera or something like that. Nothing that's mechanically different so much.
I did hear. I saw one of the extra interviews that the devs were doing, and they were saying that they have done a lot under the hood, as they suggested. One of those, which is quite a big thing, is that you can now hide in crowds. Yeah,
Assassin's Creed style. Yeah, which is like okay. Yeah, I think giving the crowds more of a purpose is certainly. It's good enough. It's a good enough step in that direction, because usually they were just set dressing, and now that they actually have a mechanical purpose, that's nice to have.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same Hitman, which is great. It's going to be Game of the Year this year. Sorry, Red Dead, but sorry, Spider-Man.
Plus, you get the entire game in one go.
Yeah, I understand it, and. Selfishly, I want it to be episodic, but that's not good for IO. It's not good for Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It's not good for anybody. So let it be all come out on a disc. Yeah, that's fine. If they can then add new maps on top of that, and lengthen out the season and have like Hitman season 2.5 or something. It's like the maps aren't on. There's 6 maps on the disc, we're going to have another 2 in the future as DLC.
Yeah,
or something
one
like
in
that.
3
I'd be
months,
happy
one in
with that.
2 months' time, and one in 4 months or 5 months' time, type of thing. Yeah, it'd be really good just to
I'd be happy with that.
extend that, and then on top of that, do the escalation missions and everything that they kind of they churned out almost weekly, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, it was
for that first season, or for Hitman, the revised version. So
yeah, all the live content is coming back, so it's a good thing. I can't wait.
I've re-downloaded it onto my PS4 as soon as I watched that Miami trailer, and then the devs talking about it. I'm thinking, fuck, I need to play Hitman again.
Yeah, the fact that you can slap someone with a fish this time, it's just like, yes, they get it. They Hitman is still awesome. They still get why it's fun.
Well, one of the best moments of Hitman was dressing up as Santa Claus and then shooting out the glass bottom of a hot tub, and you just think this is absolutely absurd and absolutely brilliant at the same time.
I'm just glad that they've made a sandbox where they can just go absolutely crazy stupid with it. It's all like how GTA do it. It's like you can just make it as stupid as you want. And that's great. Not everything, like a character who has like no personality is just serious, stone face serious, and it's just all this wacky crap going on behind him. It's great. Just a great juxtaposition. It's just so stupid. Video games are stupid, and that's why I love them.
Yeah. They are brilliant in so many ways. Yeah, it looks really good. It's definitely, again, for me, it comes out about a week. Was it the 13th or 14th of November? Something like that.
13th, day before Fallout or something like that.
Oh yeah, Fallout 76 is November as well. Yeah, I'll be getting Hitman.
Nobody cares about that. Yeah, everyone will be getting Hitman.
Everyone. Well, everyone's crying about Fallout on the internet, aren't they?
Are they?
My game's multiplayer now.
Oh, it's for a different audience, I think.
Very much.
And that audience is still not me, so I'm fine. So I don't care about Fallout anyway.
Nice. Yes.
I'm not affected.
Yeah. No, neither am I. But it comes out a couple of weeks after my birthday, so I know exactly what I'll be treating myself to.
Yes.
In the month of November.
Just a quick note is that I think they're demoing it on Xbox, so that means no exclusive content, I don't think.
Oh.
Which just, it makes me so happy. Because it's like, I played every inch of Hitman. I did not want to buy on PlayStation to play a few more contracts.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any exclusive content. They would have said that before with the pre-order bonus.
I would have thought so, definitely, yeah. Order it on this to get this, order it on this to get this, rather than them just saying, hey, pre-order now, here's the game.
Exclusive content sucks. I get why they do it, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yes. Well, we don't know. One of the games that I was looking forward to, we don't know whether it's exclusive or not, and we got all of the information that we were possibly going to get from E3 for it, and that's Final Fantasy VII, and that's absolutely no information whatsoever. That game was completely absent this year. What the fuck is going on?
Is it Nomura? Is it him? Who's doing like Kingdom Hearts which got delayed again? I just wouldn't bother peek behind the curtain of Square Enix. I just wouldn't bother. It's like,
again, one of the worst,
because it's literally a building on fire.
One of the worst conferences.
It was needless. It's like, if you're gonna say you're gonna have a conference for the first time in 5 years or something like that, make a statement. Put your games out there and say, this is what we've got coming, but this is what's going to happen in the future. I understand why people don't want to put things in their conference that are too far out, but it's like, we know about all these games. The only new one was probably that Platinum game. I don't even know what that is or remember what it is. I just remember Platinum are there.
Yeah.
There was no point to it, but hey, what are you gonna do? It's like, Tomb Raider looks cool. It looks like Predator. Like, great. Just give me that game, man. Yeah.
Tomb Raider was an odd one for me, because when it showed at the Microsoft conference, I picked up on a few...
I thought that was a great trailer.
It was a great trailer, but there looked to be some sort of like technical issues. There's a couple of bits which looked really kind of unfinished almost. You know, when she's got there's parts of it where she almost, I don't know whether it's paint or whether it's mud across her face, but it almost looked like you could pick out each of the square pixels around the edge of where that paint was. And I don't know whether it's just because it was a quick take and I had a quick, you know, it appeared and then sort of flashed off the screen again. But parts of that trailer to me kind of looked just a little bit technically unfinished almost. And this game's meant to be...
I didn't notice that.
Well, I might be wrong. It might have just been, you know, a flash and my brain picked it up as that. But this game comes out in September, right?
Yes.
You'd imagine it's
14th?
probably pretty good to go. You know, they must be going gold at the end of maybe July, sometime then. So they've only got maybe another 6 weeks of development time before that starts getting pressed.
Yeah. So
you'd imagine it's pretty good to go, and they're just ironing out bugs at the moment, rather than there being maybe, you know, visual issues. Perhaps maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't gone back and looked at it. To say that, but...
Yeah, neither have I. It looks fine to me, but as I said, maybe I wasn't looking into it more. Maybe your concerns are valid, but I'm not sure.
Well.
Anything, just playing the last few games. I know it's Crystal Dynamics are working on the Avengers project, also, which we saw nothing of. But it's more Eidos and Montreal. But
yeah,
I'm sure. It was the same way how I felt about Rise. It was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for another Tomb Raider, but I trust the team, and the previous game was good, so I'm going to buy it just to support the team.
Yeah.
That was my favourite game of 2015, you know, so I'm sure this will do the same.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. From everything I've seen, sort of like that stealth kind of gameplay. That almost like Rambo-esque or Predator kind of stalking through the jungle.
Yes.
You know, you can see kind of Lara's evolution through these 3 games, and it kind of doesn't put Uncharted to shame as such, but it brings up that whole, you know, Nathan Drake can just mercilessly kill everybody. This looks like she's full on like, you know, jungle fucking crazy, and just murdering everybody with some brutal kills as well.
Yeah, and I know everyone's had a problem with that narratively.
Yeah.
Especially how Last of Us 2 looks like. Every kill has a consequence, and like it's more visceral and everything. But I don't mind. I don't mind slaughtering everybody. I don't need a narrative in like Tomb Raider. There was a T-Rex in like PS1 ones.
The second game. Was it the second or the first? I can't remember.
I was thinking it was. I'm trying to remember the first. The first was such a good game. Second was a good game. Carry on, Last of Us.
Yes, that does lead very well into The Last of Us. Yeah. My God. Holy shit. I absolutely loved it. I love The Last of Us. It's one of my favourite games. So I probably... Yes, there it is. I'm probably a little bit... Not biased as such, but I probably sway... my thoughts are probably already thinking, if this is as good as the first game, then this is going to be this is going to be brilliant. And the tone of what they showed, and that juxtaposition between kind of Ellie being,
that was cool.
Almost happy, maybe a little bit sort of melancholy, and kind of maybe thinking to herself, oh, and when she says, I mean, I even said it to Scott when we did the Facebook live stream of the Sony conference, when she said, the girl, is it Dina?
I'm not sure.
The character that she's talking to, I can't remember, but she says, "Oh, they're terrified of you," and they're talking about like the chemistry between them and all the boys wanting Dina instead. And I instantly said to Scott, "That's not why they should be fucking terrified of him." And it then just bleeds into this absolutely brutal killing run that Ellie does, and this gunplay that looks really good, and she's so fucking badass. And again, I said to Scott, she's more badass in this 10 seconds than I will be in my entire fucking life. Like,
yes.
And the way
just
that
you throw a
trailer
bottle
works,
with such
force,
such power. Yeah, such force.
Yeah. But that
So
that
being so
trailer,
commanding.
I mean, that trailer worked so well, and for me, I think on reflection, was the highlight for me of that Sony conference. They started it off with that, and the other stuff was great. Ghost of Tsushima I really liked. Death Stranding was, who fucking knows what's going on there, and Spider-Man was fantastic. But I think that The Last of Us 2 just absolutely nailed what that game is going to be like.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not. I'm so torn. It's like, because on one hand, it's like I never wanted a second game.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah.
I've gone on record that this is The Last of Us is my favourite game of all time. I don't want to get my hopes up for the second one, because can it eclipse the first one? Probably, but
maybe.
I don't want to, make those assumptions. But yeah, it was a good showing. I'm just. It's like I was already convinced. We spoke about this with Moody on our post-conference reactions, and so I was convinced. I think there is a bit of smoke and mirrors going on. I don't think it's going to be that seamless or fluid. If anyone can do that kind of stuff, it is Naughty Dog, but that is very much a vertical slice in all its senses. If it's not, then everybody else, stop what you're doing. This is what video games is, and you should emulate that. Just go away, everyone. Spend another 6 years on your game.
No more Metrovanias needed.
Those are fine. Keep those around. But yeah, I can't. I just can't. I can't get too overly hyped about it.
Yeah.
But I do agree. The juxtaposition between Ellie being happy, what it looks like, and all that killing in the middle, and then going back to that scene. I thought that was really well done. It convinced me more on the story than the previous trailer did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, yeah, great. Yeah, and to, not to get political at all, but showing a lesbian kiss on like a AAA game on like the biggest stage at E3. Good on you, Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Good on you.
There's definitely some kudos in that. Yes.
Yeah, it's like
even made like national news. Kim even
I did it.
Kim even said to me that she heard the morning after that had been shown on Radio 1. They were talking about that. So
that's great. It's like Last of Us. You played Left Behind, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you haven't, absolutely go out and play that. I think that's the best DLC ever made for me.
It's very good.
But I would say that because I think The Last of Us is the best game ever made. But anyway,
you've not played The Witcher 3 yet, have you? Sir?
No, sorry. Second best DLC ever made. But it's like I always thought Ellie was straight, and I was like, Ellie's a badass. She's a tomboy just like me. I was like, oh, she's actually a lesbian. It would have been cool if she was straight, but it was like, actually it's cooler that she is a lesbian, because her being straight and just justifying that to me is nowhere near as cool as it is for, all the feedback that Naughty Dog have got from people say, oh, this helped me with coming out, and this helped me realise the person that I was and stuff like that. I can absolutely put away my, wanting Ellie to be a certain person for that. It's like, that's way cool. That's way more important.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't know it made like national news. That's huge. That's great.
It is. I think I was probably in the same boat as you. I don't know I picked up anything during The Last of Us which would have suggested
I didn't know
her orientation, but I don't think I even thought about it. I don't think there was any point in that game where I thought, oh, Ellie, might be attracted to this person, or she might get, they're in a community situation, she might get with this person, especially when they meet like Joel's brother, and suddenly they're in a, they're in a kind of like a commune, and there's other people there. I don't think at any point I thought, oh, Ellie can, find someone and all of this sort of stuff, and that never kind of occurred to me.
Yeah, and that's what they did so great in The Last of Us. Like, is it Bill who?
Yes. Yeah.
Who had a partner, and it was you know, he meant partner in like relationship as
Yes,
well
he
as
did, yeah,
partner
yeah.
in survival, and it was a bloke, and it was like it didn't overtly explicitly say
Not at
that.
all.
And it's like, as you said, there was nothing in The Last of Us to pick up on that Ellie was a lesbian either, and it's like, I was just like, oh yeah, this is like me, so I'm gonna, you know, transpose my personality on that character, because
Yeah.
Ellie's a badass, and I'd like to think that I'm a badass, but I'm not. So it's like, you know, you're in that mindset. It's like, you've got a beard, you're Joel.
Are you my
You thought
Ellie?
you were Joel. Yes, that's how it is. So yeah, there's nothing, you know, but it's great for a. That's what Last of Us has always been. The creators of that series want to tell that story. They don't care who you are; they will
Completely.
tell that story.
Yeah.
And so it's great.
And it's always my argument about
Mm-hmm.
not criticism against games. Everything can be criticised. I've got no problem with things being criticised whatsoever. And criticism is good because it helps you iterate and it helps you build and it helps you improve. But any people coming out saying, "Oh, it's just because SJWs now control the world," or they're pushing their political agenda, they make whatever the fuck they want to make.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
going to make their game, and that is what they
Yes.
should make. They shouldn't pander to anybody. They shouldn't have to be pushed in a certain direction by anybody. No group or certain, even if it was the other way, you know, like Gears of War, I suppose at least maybe for the first couple of games, is always called out as like bro shooter, and it's all these ginormous gruff guys going around and all this sort of stuff. That's the game they wanted to make, and that's what they made at that time. And Gears of War, it can move us into Gears of War, but Gears of War have shifted what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
And you make the game you want to make. Maybe that changes based on people coming onto your team, you know, like the narrative team maybe change a little bit, or the director of the game changes a little bit. We saw it with God of War, with Cory Barlog sort of like leaving and coming back to Santa Monica and stepping back into God of War and taking on the new game and putting across what he wanted. You make the game you want to make, and no one should kind of sway you. Maybe you know, your team of course have input, and it is a communal effort, but of that team, of the people making it, no outside forces sort of influence that. And we're seeing that a lot more with games, I think, and I would hope at least. You know, we see that with Naughty Dog, and maybe we're seeing that with Gears of War, with the new Gears of War coming out.
Yeah, that's a good transition actually. But whoever cannot like relate to, spoilers for The Last of Us Left Behind, but when they both get bitten, and then Riley's just like, oh, maybe we can just stay here and lose our minds together. And they're clearly in love. If you can't relate to that, then something wrong with you.
Completely. And I mean,
more so than anything else. There's something inherently wrong with you as a human being.
Yes. Who hasn't had that little like photo booth moment as well? You know, it's kind of
that was great.
Yeah. There's some absolutely fantastic little set pieces in that DLC.
Yeah, but it's like God of War, a game. You know, it's got Kratos, like masculinity. It's like, who doesn't feel like just wanting to slash things with an axe afterwards? You can relate to anything.
Yeah,
it's like you can relate to Gears, and as you say, Gears, good transition. I can't wait for Gears 5. Not because Kate is the main player, that is great. I think Kate was probably the most interesting out of that trio. Obviously outside of Marcus. Marcus and Dom was clearly a gay love story, so I don't know what anyone's on about. The gayest of love stories. But yeah, Gears 5 looks really good. I cannot wait.
It does.
I didn't expect it to be there, even with the rumours, but that looks really good. I cannot wait for Gears 5. I love Gears. It's probably the only Microsoft IP that I actually really like.
Yeah.
Or like it at all. Don't like it.
They gave us a date of 2019, didn't they? But is it the Coalition who make Gears? 2019 seems a little bit. Seems very close. Seems very close.
Yeah, it's like I didn't need another Gears game, but when you show me, it's like, yeah, I need another Gears game.
Yeah.
It's like Gears of War 3 is the best out of the series for me. Judgment was so. Not so much. Not quite there. But when they mentioned Gears 4, and it's like, okay, I'm ready for Gears. And then I saw the demos and I was like turned off a bit at like E3 probably like 4 years ago now or 3 years ago. A bit turned off from that, but then when I played it, it's like, this is just good, dumb fun.
Yeah.
The last of it, last like portion. Ben, you're probably never going to play this game, so I don't mind spoiling it.
Crack on.
You playing like a massive mech suit. It's like Pacific Rim.
Right.
It's great. It's just so fun. It's just a fun game. It's like, that's what I don't think so many games captured like nowadays. Like, my problem with Hellblade, was that it just wasn't fun. And I get why it wasn't, but to play something like Gears, which is just, this is just dumb fun.
Sure.
We've got a bit of a story, but who cares? You're playing as a massive mech at the end. It's great.
Yeah, and that's almost what you get from, going to the other team as such. That is what you get from Uncharted. Uncharted was never kind of that super serious game. It doesn't have a serious narrative. It was always that very pulpy, very fun kind of gameplay. Very similar in terms of it being like a third-person cover shooter, really. But I think we've kind of seen almost like a maturation of not just games, but specific studios as well, as they've kind of grown up. And suddenly, it happened with Naughty Dog with maybe The Last of Us. Gears or the Coalition seem to be shifting a little bit more in what they're doing and bringing something that's maybe a little more, not narrative based, but that takes a little bit more care over that and actually tries to tell something a little bit different, a little bit more grown up. We saw it with other games last year with Hellblade and stuff like that we seem to be getting into a state with the medium where games are more grown up now. Metroidvanias and stuff like Guacamelee 2, which I don't seem to think I've seen anything of this E3.
No, which is a shame.
It is. But they all have their place. They're fun. They're really good to play. But a lot of studios now have this opportunity to kind of take it up a notch. And we are seeing a lot more of that.
The funny thing is that Gears is, from what it looks like in the trailer, it's going more back to that like survival horror that the first few Gears was.
It's the new Dead Space.
Not quite that much survival horror, but just by the looks of it, it's the dark environments. It looked like she was on her own rather than like with a party of four, and it's like, that could be cool.
There was that scene where she's running through that corridor with that melee, like either a hammer.
Yes, that spiked hammer, which they got from that enemy that was shown before, who looks cool.
That very much looked like she was just by herself, and it completely kind of, took it into a slightly different tone as well.
Yeah, it looks like a lone-ish mission because from the setup, it's like, because it's obviously a lotus symbol that she's got.
Yep.
All the stuff from the previous story, is tied into that. But it looks like this is, I'm going to do this. I don't care if you lot are following me. I think like JD is going to be like the main, not main, but one of the antagonists.
Yeah. Which
would be cool. Who was like past protagonist. Is like, now you're going to be fighting against him. Can't wait.
Nice.
Yes.
we have no simple segues to go into the next game.
No.
But
I'm tell me, why are you excited for
I'm not going
them?
to. I finished my beer. I absolutely nailed the last half of that beer.
I finished mine under different circumstances.
I want another one. I'm going to open up another beer.
Me too.
Ooh.
I want to go get one. I want to go get one.
I can just.
Can I turn off the camera and then come back?
I have no idea. Video, mate. It's all new.
Are you going to edit this?
I'm not going to edit this. It takes effort, mate. I'm not going to fucking do that, am I?
Well, just like the Sony press conference, everyone, we're going to go for a not quite 15-minute intermission.
We're going to get up and have a slight
I need to turn
intermission.
the light on anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll just talk. I'll talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah, entertain them.
I'll do the out of lives bit.
Cool. I'll turn this off and I'll turn that off. I'll see if that breaks anything, this is going to be a two-parter that Ben will seamlessly edit together.
Oh, I go on holiday tomorrow, mate.
Oh, well, sorry. I'll see you in a second.
It's fine. We can see your snowflake. I'm going to crack another beer. I'll tell you about it when you come back. So, people listening who know that Lucy is gone because I'm not editing these anymore, because it's on video as well, over on YouTube. Oh, God, this makes me sound like a complete knobhead, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not going to edit it anymore because it's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't really know how to edit video. That's not one of my skills. It's not in my skill set, really. So, go to outoflives.net. It's a website. It's a website that hosts our podcast. It's a website that I occasionally write for. And lots of other lovely people write for or make videos for and things like that. So outoflives.net is the place that you should go to if you want to keep up with other gaming and entertainment, like movies and TV shows. Because you like us and you value our opinions. We occasionally get review codes for games and stuff like that, so that occasionally goes up if you want to know about certain games and things. Mr. Moody, who is now with me on the Out of Lives podcast, which is a much more general podcast about entertainment, which started just before E3. We had a week off this week and put all of our E3 reactions and stuff up onto that feed. So if you want something else to listen to, which is, at least for this week, much more gaming focused, you can find Out of Lives on your podcast service of choice, whatever you're listening to us currently on. That's also a video podcast, so that's going up onto YouTube as well, and just search for Out of Lives on YouTube to find us there. Also, one thing that you should probably do, and this is going to be a little shout out to the Beer O'Clock Show. The Beer O'Clock Show ran an episode months ago now where they had a gentleman on who spoke about social media and engagement. And it's an episode that really stuck with me. He very much spoke about Facebook being a very big growth market. So we've started doing a few little extra bits on our Facebook page, and obviously that's, again, just search for Out of Lives. You'll be able to find us. But on our Facebook page, at least for last week and this week coming, we've had a lot of E3 content going up as well. So it's stuff that you won't hear on our podcast feeds. It's stuff that you won't see on the YouTube page. They've been little sort of like 5-minute videos of our predictions, what we think we're going to see or what we want to see going into each of the conferences. And, you know, mostly that's been me, really. Me and Scott on the Facebook page doing videos. But we're going to have reactions, and people from Out of Lives are going to do little videos telling us what they liked most from E3. And you may go over to Facebook and you may see my face and see me again, and I'll tell you once again what I have liked in a very concise and very short format over on the Facebook page in a video. But yeah, go to all of those things. Follow Out of Lives Pod as well on Twitter, because Dave's been doing a stellar job of live tweeting the conferences, and he's building that up a little bit more and getting a little bit more engaged in the Twitter community too. So we're building on our Facebook, we're building on our Twitter media presence, or social media presence. So yeah, Lucy's back. That's the Gumph done.
That was very good filling in my absence.
Thank you.
Well done.
I'm sure you heard all of it.
Yes, I've heard this spiel, outoflives.net. No, I'm glad you said you're going to crack and open another beer, because it'd just be a shame to end on that 8-bit from Brewdog and Co. So yeah, you've told the listeners about what you're drinking?
I've not. I thought I'd wait for you so you can see what I'm drinking as
Fantastic.
well. So I am drinking a double IPA called Swifts or Swallows, which is from Verdant and Cloudwater. That is the can. It's very lovely.
Is that a greenish can?
No, it's white with stripes, and that is the beer.
Okay. I can't see for anyone who's watching.
Oh no, I'm holding it up so you can't see, because it's only one thing, which is the recording, can use my webcam. Yes, that's correct. So it's a white can. It's a white can with orangey, yellow, and a little bit of blue stripes on the can. They have no flavour text, but they tell me that the malt is extra pale ale, Golden Promise, Wheat, Oats, Flaked Wheat, and Dextrin. The hops are Mosaic, Columbus, Citra, and Galaxy, and the yeast is London Ale 3. Well, there's a little bit of flavour text underneath. Hang on. Swifts and Swallows are superficially similar in appearance. They are, however, only distant cousins, Swifts being more closely related to hummingbirds.
Yeah, I can confirm that's true.
Cool, good. I can't.
Yeah, I'm a zoologist.
And you've been playing a 5th game this week, Zoo Tycoon 7.
Yes. Is that still on Xbox?
More than likely.
Yeah.
More than likely. I did.
Sure, it's on my library.
Before we move on to the rest of our E3, I did watch a lot of the first season of Atlanta the week before E3,
Right.
which is the Donald Glover, and I think his brother wrote a lot of the season, like hip hop kind of program, which is really good. They play a lot of Zoo Tycoon on Xbox in that.
Do they?
Yes.
Is that like a purposely gimmicky thing that they're pointing
no
out,
idea.
or
I have absolutely no idea.
apparently it's a good game. Apparently it's a decent game.
Yeah, well, sounds better than the reviews that have been coming out
Jurassic
for
World.
Jurassic World, which I really want to play. And so does
I
Adel.
think-
Adel messaged us. He said he really wants to play it.
I think you can find enjoyment out of it.
Yes, I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could enjoy it. You know, but Adel's not here because he is at the moment currently on site recording his new comedy podcast. Not his new comedy podcast, the comedy podcast he is producing for other people. But we changed the night that we're recording this week because I'm going on holiday tomorrow. So unfortunately, he couldn't be with us.
Where are you going, Ben? I don't even know.
I'm going to Weymouth, mate. Just going back to see me folks.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only weekend we had free
Good old
before
Weymouth.
the wedding, and we have stuff we need to go down and discuss with people. So we have.
Sounds like a real holiday.
Yay!
Real
Brilliant. We also
relaxing.
was going to Southampton to see my friend Rob
Yeah,
for an evening,
ooh.
who is
Okay.
going to exclusive. None of our guests know this yet. None of my guests actually listen to this, so it won't matter. He is not
Wasn't I
officiating.
meant to be a guest?
You're coming, actually. Yeah, fuck.
I don't know what's going on.
It's fine. You'll see. You'll see it when you get
Yeah.
there. So Rob, who is one of my best friends, who I lived with for several years, is going to be leading our ceremony for us.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
So we've got to go and talk to him as well. So it's not again.
Drop that bombshell on
not
him.
a fucking no. He does know that. I'm taking down his gold and purple robe that I'm going to make him wear to do it in. But E3, let's get back. Oh no, what beers? We're beers.
Yeah,
Hang on.
beers.
Where are we going? Where are we? What is even going on, mate? Video.
Yep.
Video's thrown me out completely.
I'm just trying to not burp on camera.
I've been doing it quietly.
Yeah,
Back.
subtly. I'll tell you what I'm drinking. It's a Cloudwater collaboration beer with Square Mile Coffee Roasters. Ah,
Ooh.
is that a
Is it
coffee?
stout? Is it a porter?
It's a brown ale.
Oh. Okay.
Imperial Brown Ale. I don't think I've ever had a beer that describes itself as a Imperial Brown
No,
Ale.
I don't think I have.
So
11?
let's read it.
10, 11%?
Only 7.5.
Oh, okay.
Which brown ales are usually like 4, 5,
Yeah.
so yeah, I suppose. This Imperial Brown Ale is our second collaboration with our friends at Square Mile Coffee Roasters for Uppers and Downers annual coffee beer festival. That's the thing.
Must
You
be.
have to go to Manchester. I don't like coffee, but sounds cool. We selected 2 roast profiles of Yandaro coffee beans from Burundi with 20 kilograms in a hot side steep and 24 kilograms in a cold side steep. A 1 kilogram addition of slow infused fresh vanilla pods add complexity and sweetness. The malts: Golden Promise, Flaked Oats, Vienna, Heritage Crystal, Dark Crystal Brown. Bittering hop is Pilgrim, Alpha, CO2 extract, and adjuncts are coffee and vanilla. Yeast is J.W. Lees and WLP095.
Sounds like a Cloudwater beer.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do like, stouts, porters, coffee and beers, like when they put in black IPA.
Yeah.
It's great. So that's the only real life situation where I'd actually drink coffee inside a beer. So, just cracking it open, you can smell it. Smell the coffee.
Nice. Nice. I've had a sip. I've had a sip of mine. I don't think I'd mentioned it. It was 8%, but it is very much a viscous, fruity double IPA. It's kind of the beer that looks very nice. It's kind of the beer that you want on a very warm day if you want something a little bit stronger, perhaps. It very much looks like a hazy juice bomb. I think my camera is picking up it maybe a little more orangey than perhaps it actually is. It's a... When I say that, putting it in the light, it does have that. It's so hazy. It's almost like orange juice, really. And on the flavour, it is a juice when we're getting tropical fruits. It has got that viscosity to it as well, that slight thickness. And those fruits, they don't kick in. You get maybe like 2 or 3 seconds before those fruits kick in, and then they almost like attack your tongue and hit you in loads of different positions. And you get the slight, very, very slight, I don't know whether it's the last beer, but you get this very slight tingle on the end of your tongue as well, on the tip. That maybe hints at a slight bitterness, but not very much. It's very pared back on its bitterness. It's very smooth. The viscosity, yes, it's a little thicker, but it's very clean. It's very smooth going through, and that goes into the flavour as well. So it's nice. It's a little bit pared back. It's not quite as fruity as a lot of sort of juice bombs or double IPAs that we've had recently. It's pared back a little bit, which is nice. It's nice at this time of night not to kind of have that big juice bomb, I think, at least for me. So this is it's nice. It's sort of subtle. Maybe it's a little subdued, but it's easy to drink.
Well, it reminds me of what you're saying from like beer that you had. Was the last time? No, not last time. The time before, because obviously last time was Cannonball Run. Yeah. Where you said it was like pared back slightly with the fruitiness, but you couldn't quite describe what that was being replaced with. It sort of sounds like that beer. Can't remember what that beer. The time before last, I cannot remember.
I think
but you did say that you enjoyed it, but you did say that the flavours was pared back slightly.
I think the last time I had a Verdant and Pressure Drop collaboration.
Was it that one? It might have been that one.
Then there was another beer. I can't remember the second beer. Was it Cloudwater? Might have been.
It's too far. Okay.
Everything just rolls into one beer now.
Yeah, I can't remember what I drank yesterday. I can't remember where I was yesterday, what I did, what I saw.
Bit of work, perhaps. No, you had the day off. E3.
Yeah.
How's your beer taste?
I don't know what day it is, but...
How does your beer taste? And we'll get back to E3.
It's like far and beyond better than this... Oh, there's still beer left in here. Didn't even realise picking it up.
Oh dear.
I can't... Yeah. That I never leave beer in a can. But this is so much better. You probably can't pick it up, but it is very, 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 very dark brown. Mm-hmm. It's not quite pure black.
Yeah.
But it looks like a stout. Unless you look very closely, it looks like a stout.
Yeah, nice. It looks like it's kind of got that nice creamy head to it. Very, very dark. Yeah, I can't quite pick up that it's brown. Maybe just at the edge of the glass where your blue, where your t-shirt is just behind it. Yeah. On that edge, you get a little hint of the brown, perhaps. Yeah,
possibly. It's very hard to see, but it looks very much like a stout, and it tastes very much like a stout. All that coffee packed into it. I don't know how this would be a brown ale as such. It's like brown ales. As I say, I've never had an Imperial Brown Ale. This is how they're meant to taste. Like what I imagine most would think is like a conventional stout or porter. It's wonderful. It's creamy. It's just smooth. It's got coffee packed into it, so it's just warm and comforting. It's not too heavy. It's like that good like middle ground between like a porter, which is usually lighter ABV, and like imperial stout. It's just right in the middle. It's not too alcoholic. It's just smooth, and it gives you all those comforting feelings that a stout would.
Yeah.
But it's not too alcoholic.
Okay.
It's not too heavy. It's not too overblown. It's a really good beer.
Nice.
So much better than what I had before.
Good.
Good shout.
Yes.
Asking for another beer.
Yes. Well, I thought we can probably talk for our highlights and the things that we enjoyed from E3 for at least another 3 hours, can't we? But what we probably do to keep this down a little bit is maybe just talk for another sort of 10 minutes or so. So maybe just another couple each of the highlights. We very organically rolled through a few things, but maybe now we'll zoom in a little bit and pick a couple of things that really caught our eye. I'm going to start with you, Lucy. What else other than what we've spoken about already kind of jumped out to you?
I'll stick with a quick one. I think one will be shared between us, but one that's very quick is Doom Eternal.
Oh, yes. This was going to be my next one, yes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then we might share another one then, but it was like I watched it back, actually. It's a minute trailer rather than 30 seconds, but it shows nothing. Shows no gameplay.
Nope.
And this is my most hyped game of E3. Because Doom 2016 was something else.
What did it... The guys came out on stage, didn't they? And they gave a little bit of information. And they said, we're giving you more demons to fight. They're giving us more weapons to use.
Yes.
And they've made it literally hell on earth.
Yeah, and seeing those guys come out, I don't know if anyone's watched the no-clip, like, documentaries of Doom.
Yeah.
Absolutely go watch that.
Yeah.
But I saw those two faces and how, like, passionate they were about Doom and just how they got it, and that's what they put into the game. Seeing those two come out on stage, I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold. And that trailer is so cool.
It is. It's very cool.
Because you hear, like, the Mick Gordon riffs coming in, and you just see, you see hell on earth, as you said, and you see the demons, and he just starts cocking his shotgun, and I was just like, yes. It's just, yes. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I can't.
I really want that. But they didn't give They didn't give us any date, did they?
They're going to be showing off at QuakeCon, which I believe is in August.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it 2019?
I can't remember.
I'd imagine that's a 2019 game because some of it are obviously working on Rage, but I think most of the team is probably working on the next Doom. I imagine.
Because who is actually making Rage? Avalanche?
Id and Avalanche, yeah.
So Avalanche is making Rage with support from id.
Yes.
So you'd imagine id are giving over resources when they're needed, or just giving expertise, being on Skype and being on the phone all of the time whilst making the next Doom game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As far as what I've heard, is that Avalanche are taking over the main control of that game, and id are just the support role. I'd imagine that most of them are working on Doom Eternal. Yes, I can't wait.
I say about we'll just pick things, but that does organically move me into something. I absolutely loved Bethesda's conference.
It was good. I think it was I always think Bethesda are the best conference, but they are. Well, and it's like I only care about like two of their properties as well.
Exactly.
Exactly. Great conference.
But any conference that opens with Andrew WK for me is going to be a winner. That man is beautiful.
He's got a lot of energy.
He just keeps going. Just keeps
tight jeans.
fucking going. Man, can he play the fucking piano? Just ridiculous. But
Have you got a man crush? Have you got a little man?
If I have a man crush, it's definitely Andrew WK. Absolutely no fucking doubt. But his one of his songs has been used for like the Rage 2 trailer. So the show opened up with him playing that song and then them showing Rage 2. And from what they've shown, and from id working on it, and from Avalanche working on it, if this is almost a hybrid of Mad Max and
a game which
Doom,
you really liked.
Yeah, if it's a hybrid between Mad Max and Doom, I'm sold. I from what I've seen, it looks pretty crazy. I'm a little bit. I'm not worried, but all I've seen so far is first-person shooting. I haven't seen. I thought they I thought they might have put in a few of the sort of the melee up-close kills from Doom as well, and I think they've obviously brought in a lot of the vehicle combat from Mad Max. It's all first-person shooting as well, which the first Rage was anyway. So they've kind of gone with that formula again. But I thought maybe it might have just pushed in that kind of brutal melee kill, even if it's just with the butt of your shotgun, or because you're fighting mutants and sort of like raiders and things like that, rather than maybe demons perhaps. But yeah, I'd have just liked that to have been in there as well. But for me, Rage is looking really good.
I'm not sure, because it looks like they're focusing on like the boomerang and more long range weapons. Yeah. What I really wanted to see was just, I think it's in a bit of like the gameplay demo. It's just like, I just want to see a shotgun. I don't want to see like something that you have to empty like 16 clips in.
Yeah.
To get the enemy down. I don't want to see like an assault rifle. I want to see like a shotgun. and that will convince me. I don't like open world like first person games. Yeah. For me, I suffer from motion sickness, so like playing the well, kind of the resurgence of Far Cry 3.
Yep.
I couldn't play it because it's like got motion sick. To spend like 40 hours in a first person open world is a bit daunting.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm interested in, I never played the first Rage. The only reason why I'm interested in it all because id are in that. But I don't know how much of the spirit of like Doom 2016 is going to be in it, especially as you said that we haven't seen any up close kills. I don't think that's the kind of game. I think it's probably going to be like, not shooting goes, that's such a negative term, but more like corridor shooting. So maybe not getting up and close to people, more using the boomerang and the long range weapons and slamming down into the ground.
More maybe like Borderlands than Doom, perhaps.
No, don't say that. That just turns me off completely.
Not the
Borderlands.
Not the loot sort of style, but the kind of like the stick back and sort of shoot at people. Hopefully it doesn't churn numbers out of the top of them and stuff like that. But
I don't think it does. I don't think they've confirmed that. I think media, from what I know so far, is that they're concerned about the open world part.
Right.
Only because probably they haven't seen that part. They're like, we're very confident of how this feels as a first person shooter, but in terms of open world, we're not quite sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those where if it reviews really well, like really, really well, I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah.
If it's like even at 8, which is completely unreasonable for me, but for something that's such a barrier in terms of like my motion sickness, I don't know if I could spend that long in a 40-hour game.
I'll pick it up and I'll send it to you.
And then I'll never get around to playing
But then
it.
you can stick it in. If you bounce off it, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. It should be fine, because Doom was fine for me, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. What else have you got? What? Say, we can list off at the end, like all of the other things that we kind of enjoyed. But what else do you want to kind of have a little bit of a discussion about?
Well, I was going to say Control, because I thought you might be on that as well.
Yes.
You might be on the Control train too.
Yes. Definitely.
It looks good.
It does look
good. I
good.
rewatched the trailer. It looks like inside in 3D with guns.
Oh, it
it looks trippy,
Ooh,
like
it
inside.
definitely looks trippy. Yes, it definitely
Yeah,
does.
like people just hanging there from the walls, and you got like the telekinesis.
That manipulation effect looks really good. And
Yeah,
so this is made by Remedy. Is it published by 505?
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Which
So-
people are saying, automatically saying, "Oh, this is going to be like a mid-tier game," and it's like Remedy have never done like
No, they haven't. I think
massively
505 have
AAA
got a
games.
little bit of a not a bad rep, but they
They don't, yeah. Aren't they publishing that Walking Dead game or something?
oh they might be.
Or is that Starbreeze? I can't remember. But it's
that
like
is Star- I think
505
that
are
is
not a
Starbreeze,
small.
actually.
Yeah, 505 are not a small developer.
No.
You know, they're not tiny. But if Quantum Break is anything to go by, like, and like their previous games, Max Payne and Alan Wake, if it has like the weirdness and the darkness of like, you know, Alan Wake sort of, and Max Payne, and the combat in Quantum Break is the best thing about that game. It's like everything else around it was pretty crap, but the combat is where that game shines. I'm sold. It's like, yes, but they've only been working on it for 2 years, so I don't think it's going to be 2019.
Well, if it's going to be 2019, I think it's going to be late 2019.
I think it's pushed to 2020.
Yeah, maybe. You know,
But that's going to
wouldn't
be
be the first game to be pushed, but it does that kind of shifting environment. As soon as I saw that, it rather than another game, it actually made me think of something like Inception, and almost you know, very soon afterwards, kind of made me think of something like Portal, where you're moving through an environment and stuff is all automatically kind of changing around you and stuff, and you then have the ability to then manipulate that perhaps, and to use it to kind of your advantage. And
yeah, someone did liken it to like Cube, which is like Portal. So
yeah.
I get the connection.
So yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks very and it's something I thought about Death Stranding as well. It looks very lonely.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's not Death Stranding a little bit different. It's kind of very not stark environments, but a little bit sparse. You're by yourself. You're walking through with your luggage and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Control tonally looked quite dark, and you only really see the character that you're playing, and then enemies who have been like pinned to the ceiling and stuff like this. It looks very very devoid of almost like humans, really, and that might be just what they've shown to us.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. Narratively, that's really what they mentioned. You become the director of this like company, which is like meant to be like, you know, imagine if like X-Files had took all that weird technology and stored it in like one building, from, like, all the, and then that went wrong, and then those enemies hanging from the ceiling are like past employees, and they're attacking you or something like that. They will get possessed. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's what it looks like narratively. And yeah, it does look like it could be like some survival horror to it as well. So
it kind of
it looks interesting.
I've not played Prey, or the
No, and I
most
really
recent
want to get
iteration
to
of
that,
Prey.
yeah.
But it kind of I played the demo. And
Me too.
it reminded me a little bit of that as well. You know, that demo, you're going through the facility, and you sit in that room to do that kind of like tutorial kind of bit, and it almost made me think a little bit of that. Like that, you know, you had little shots of maybe rooms where like a little experiment was going on in and stuff like that, and maybe it kind of it has the same sort of feel as that as well.
It does,
so,
yeah. It does, like immersive sim / kind of Dead Space, but the aliens you're fighting are humans.
Yeah.
They're being possessed. Yeah, it looks really cool. But just to list another game off, Ori.
Yeah.
I think that's good. That's going to be just hearing what the devs are saying as well. They're like, we want to make this the Super Mario Bros. Free to what Super Mario Bros. Was. It's like, that's all PR speak, obviously.
Completely, yeah.
But knowing how good the first one is, and seeing that they just want to up that's going to be an amazing game. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that getting very high. I mean, the first one got high praise. I think
It did.
just the way that they're evolving the combat system, evolving the Metroidvania aspects of it. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that either.
Yeah, and there's an absolute ton of games that I cannot wait for at all. I mean, I'm gonna
Spider-Man.
I'll talk about one final game, but I will. But first, I'm gonna list some stuff to you.
Yeah,
So,
list them. Yeah.
like Spider-Man, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yes.
That
yes.
looks
I don't know what
super
that
cool.
is.
Well,
I don't want to play. As long as it's single player, you can play in single
you can
player.
play single player, but you also
Oh,
play as a co-op game as well.
Yeah.
And I
So that looks
I
interesting.
almost want like both experiences really. But Cyberpunk looks. We see nothing of what that game is actually going to be.
That made me from 0 to. Yeah, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
It looks like Fifth Element.
Oh, it looks so good. That setting is fantastic.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
What else did we see? Tunic from Microsoft.
Oh yeah, the
conference
little
as well.
fox game.
The little
yeah,
fox
yeah.
game. That looks absolutely brilliant. I really like that. So
Can you go 5 for 5? Am I interested in the next one? If you say Death Stranding, then
Ooh.
absolutely not.
no. So another one. I'm kind of interested in Beyond Good and Evil 2, but more so
Yeah.
for the community involvement and what that actually entails and what that's going to be.
Mate,
So
the
no, I can't
setting
go
looks
5 for
really
5.
cool,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's going to be Destiny. I don't care.
Yeah, I
And
don't know,
this
I don't know.
whole, oh, get your art in the game. It's not that. This game is going to take us 15 years to make.
Oh, this
This
is
is still a
nowhere
tech
near.
demo.
Yeah, completely.
Make it. Send us your art so it makes 12
Oh,
years to make.
It's next
So-
gen. Absolutely no doubt that's a next gen game.
It feels a bit skeevy to me. I appreciate that, so many companies like run competitions and stuff like that. Get this in the game. Get your input in the game. This sounds like the game. We haven't finished it. We still need help making it. Otherwise, if we don't get help making it, we're just not going to make it. It's still going to be this tech demo. Help us. It's just I don't like the sound of it. If that's not what it is, then fair play.
Yeah.
I think that's great that there's someone out there who loves Beyond Good and Evil, the first one, and it's probably got like fan art on their walls. And it's like I want to have this in the next game. This game inspired me to be a photographer or something like that. I don't know, and that's cool, but it doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds
that's
like,
fair.
please
Seems a fair
help
point.
us make this
we
game.
have almost no information on it really. A game we have
Like,
quite a lot of
yeah.
information on, which
Yeah.
I was interested in and wanted something more from, but I'm still interested in because they didn't give us anything more. Was The Division 2? That looked really cool. I really like that. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is Sea of Solitude,
Oh, yeah.
which is one of these. Was it EA originals? Do they call them? As a Way Out was.
Something like that,
As
yeah.
I believe Yanni was published under.
Yanni's,
well.
you
Yanni's
were right.
ooh.
Yanni's Revenge Rewoven.
Rewoven,
Came out,
reloaded,
yeah.
relocked. Yep, he's there. Well, you can play it now. But yeah, Sea of Solitude. We didn't see a huge amount, but the dev that came on that said, this is written from kind of like personal experience, and I've put a lot into this stuff. She was absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they showed, it kind of almost made me think a little bit, almost of something like Submerged. But
Oh, Ben, I was just about to say that. Yeah. We are telepathic.
exactly. We've hung out far too much. on
Too
this.
much.
But it made me think a little bit about that, but a much darker take. And she's talking, the developer who's talking on screen or on stage, sorry, about this game is talking about depression, about where that kind of comes from, not just about for the person experiencing it, but how other people interact with you and experience that, and how that may kind of develop what this character in this game is doing. It looks so dark, and you almost look like you are the antagonist
Yeah.
but you're the protagonist as well. And that's super interesting, that you're almost kind of like fighting against yourself and your own inner kind of feelings and thoughts and stuff. And
Have you played Celeste?
not yet, mate. Not
Well,
yet. That's coming. That's coming.
You've just described Celeste.
Yeah.
Which is still my game of the year before Hitman comes out, so... yeah, but that, honestly, that is Celeste.
Yeah.
And it does it so well. But yeah, this game looks... I'm not too hot on it. I want to see what the gameplay is more so.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the authenticity from the dev and, you know, the passion. It's just a great thing to see.
It is. And it was a surprising thing to see on EA's stage. And almost everything...
They've done it the last few years, to be fair, so...
Yeah.
You know, they've been bringing it. It's like... EA gets a lot of crap, rightly so, but they don't get enough praise for this. It's like they don't get any proceeds from pushing out this game, funding this game. It's like no one else does that, you know? No one else.
Yeah. They
They probably get some money from buying it through their, you know, like EA Origins or EA Access, possibly, but what's that in the scheme of things, you know? It's really good.
Completely. They make like 30p per copy or something
exactly.
like that. Like,
exactly. And they may not even require that. Who knows? Probably it is EA, but still, you know, like it's good.
It is, and it was kind of that that very unexpected moment as well. You know, we kind of knew a lot of the stuff that we'd kind of see going into this, and I knew nothing of Solitude. I hadn't even heard of it before this, so it was a nice surprise to see, and something that really caught my eye and stood out against FIFA and Madden and all that bollocks that's churned out every fucking year. You know.
You mean you're not excited for all the seamless integration of FUT tokens?
What?
I don't know, mate. FUT.
Exactly, and now stay tuned
Seamless
for our new podcast, which is all about FIFA Ultimate Team, because we know a fucking shitload about that, don't we?
Mate, PES has been a better game for a while. PES looks like real life now.
PES is fucking brilliant.
Crazy, yeah.
It's definitely my football game of choice, if I bought a football game to play. But
in the last 10 years, which hasn't happened.
So, Lucy, I've listed off some games. Give us just list off the other games that you're kind of interested in that kind of took your eye, perhaps.
I think Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
That looks like a samurai game, and samurai games are cool. Nothing that we haven't covered that I can remember. The Last of Us, Ori, Doom. Doom is definitely my game of E3, but we haven't actually seen anything.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Nintendo didn't show anything of interest. Apart from Hollow Knight, got that. Microsoft. No, I think that's it. Honestly.
Nice.
If I come with anything, I will probably scream about it on the next podcast.
Definitely. I think just as one final game, and I didn't see a huge amount of it. I think it was shown on the PC Gamer Show, which I missed, but it was originally shown on Microsoft's show, which was
Hitman
Sable.
2.
No,
No,
Sable.
Yeah.
You didn't see much on Microsoft, but the art style on that looks absolutely fantastic.
Speaking of an indie game, my friend Pedro as well, from Devolver.
Oh yes, Devolver. We haven't even touched on Devolver. Devolver are fucking absolutely mental, which is what you should have expected from them. It was a brilliant conference.
It was good. It was much better, I felt, than last year. I know you really liked last year.
But no, I think it was. I agree. I completely agree. It was exactly what they needed to do. And my friend Pedro was, you know, what do we have? Was it called Mech Air Wolf or something, whatever it's called?
Warfare? I don't know.
No, and then Scum, which looks ridiculous, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, my friend Pedro.
My friend Pedro looks cool.
Brilliant. Looks absolutely.
I think we should end it on that. End it on a banana.
Yes. A chat talking banana and a man shooting people on a skateboard.
Yes.
Yes. So Lucy, if people want to talk to you about their thoughts on E3, the beers that you've drank, how do they do that? We'll get into beers in a minute.
Just checking.
Get the shit out of the way first.
Yeah. Juicy Leaves 9 on Xbox and PlayStation. At Tanked Up Lucy on Twitters.
Brilliant. I'm at Nova_47 on PlayStation, on Steam, and on Twitter. You may be watching us on YouTube. If you're doing so, follow us on your podcast service of choice. We're obviously tagged on there. Or if you're listening to us on your podcast service of choice, look at our faces on YouTube and just go to Out of Lives on YouTube.
Don't tell the FBI where I am.
No, don't. I've done this already, so don't worry about any of this. So, beers. Let's talk about beers. Oh, hang on. What's the Twitter for Tanked Up? Tanked_cast. Do that one too. Chat to us. Beers. You've had kind of 2 official beers and 1 unofficial beer. Which is your favourite? Which is your favourite beer?
Yeah, the unofficial beer won't even get a mention here. Which is the 8-bit. Just to make everyone know, it's not the
Well, that was the unofficial beer. Okay.
Yeah. I'm counting that as the unofficial beer. It's hard. I really like that wit beer, and I really like this Imperial Brown Ale, but
2 very different beers.
Yeah. Can I cheat?
Of course you can.
It's our first video on it. I'll
like,
cheat. Yeah. They're equal. They're both great. Just mention their names again if anyone wants to pick them up. It's the Kromme River from St Francis Brewing Company, and it is the fantastic. You see, if you weren't recording this, you could have just edited that out.
That's true.
Teething problems.
No more.
Do these collaborations ever have a name? It's the Yandaro Imperial Brown Ale from Cloudwater and Square Mile Coffee Roasters. I'm not sure if it has an official name that I can see, but yeah, there's the can.
Yes, nice. For everyone to see when they go into their bottle shop next. Or can shop, as it is becoming sort of more known as, I suppose. For me, I don't think for me this week it is a draw. I've had 3 beers which I've enjoyed. The 2 tribes which I started on, the American Pale Ale was nice. You got a nice fruitiness through it. You got a good bitterness to there too. The Verdant and Cloudwater double IPA is very similar to some other double IPAs that I've had. It is a little bit of a juice one, maybe pared back slightly. But this Poppels, this West Coast India Pale Ale, complete enigma of a beer for me, was absolutely fantastic. I have no idea what's going on in this beer. What did I say? There's a little bit of caramel. The malts are kicking in a little bit more, which maybe is pulling back a little bit of a fruity sort of stone fruit flavour. That's see, I can remember things. But there's absolutely no doubt that I could have smashed that beer all night. I could have just drank that beer. I'm not a stone fruits guy. I don't want that. It's fine in a one-off beer as just having that beer and then going to something else. But this, I could have nailed completely. It's really well made. It's balanced very well. And I have no idea about this beer whatsoever, where it's made. So it's Poppels Brewery, and it's the West Coast IPA. If you see it, pick it up.
Just go track them down.
Yeah, find it. Find it. It was a complete random pick off of the shelf when I went into the bottle shop last. So, a very good pick, obviously.
Yeah. Good.
And now I need to find them on Twitter to say, loved your beer.
Harass them.
Hooray.
Send me more.
Send me more beer, please. So, that's it. We've done our shout-outs and our stuff. Follow us on things. We've told you all about our beers. We've told you all about E3. So, for another week. You've been slightly tanked. It's an 8%. I'm finished on 8% beer, so I'm feeling it a little bit.
I'm okay.
You're okay. Good.
I had 2 beers before this as well.
Alright.
Okay.
Well, excellent. Wow. Yeah. So, for another week, I've been slightly tanked up, and Lucy is just feeling pretty normal. Bye.
Solid. Oh my.
Oh my, indeed. Now I've got to press buttons to stop things.